Welcome to the OAPN Podcast with your host, Adarsh Sakare. No bullshit, no cuts. 100% raw conversations with 0% fucks to give. We don't encourage the consumption of alcohol, but if you want to open up a cold one while you watch this, it's not a bad idea.
Welcome to episode number 48 of On a Personal Note with Adarsh Sakare. It always feels good to sit here and hear new stories, and I hope you feel the same too. Today we have another special guest in the studio, as always. Before I introduce the guest to you, let's say hi to Phalgun. Hi, Phalgun.
Hey, thanks for having me here.
Yeah.
I've never been in front of a camera like this, so...
Okay. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice to have you here. Before we start, I think mention to Siddharth Pai, who connected both of us.
Woo!
Yes.
Dude. Way to go.
Thank you, Siddharth. I think this was amazing. So thank you so much. That being said, Phalgun is the CEO of a company called Mozaic Games. They make amazing board games. Now, the first thing I want to tell you is, as a common man, as most of you here would be listening into this, as soon as you say board games, I think the first thing that comes to your mind is Ludo, Snake and Ladder, Monopoly, Business, things we've played growing up as kids. And it's almost impossible to think beyond that, because that's what we've been exposed to. So when I learned about Mosaic Games, the first question I thought was, what more can you do with board games? Because I honestly didn't believe it. And that was my whole approach, even when I was speaking to Phalgun over the call. And I'm like, I mean, what more can you do with it? And why are these guys so excited about board games? Like, what's going on? And then Phalgun invites me to his store, and I really entered a new world that day when I went to the store, because they've taken board games from here maybe at a level 1 to a level 100, and I'm sure there's a lot more. So it's a very interesting venture that they are on, which we are going to listen to. We played a game, we played one of their games that's not yet released, and it was absolute fun. So if you like board games, I think you should listen to this. But as always, if you want to listen to a story about what happens when you do what you love, I think this is going to be a great episode for you. So welcome to episode 48. Yes, I'm still right. So
wow,
Phalgun,
man.
thank you.
48.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Something.
I mean, that's some persistence. I mean, I have to. I'm inspired by what you
I don't know about persistence. We could have been better. But Phalgun, yeah, man. I mean, I think it's really inspiring to see creative ideas take shape.
Yeah.
Because the problem is, ideas are everywhere. And it's very rare that these ideas actually get executed and make a difference or make an impact or reach people. So I think that's something that I felt when I came there and when I saw the store. And you said you have 7-8 people working with you.
Yeah.
And 7-8 of you are changing the game in its own way. The whole...
Actually, into 100 of that.
Okay, because there are a lot of people, the designers and...
So that's the thing, right?
Everyone else, right?
Yeah.
So it was really inspiring to see an idea come to its fruition and, you know, whatever you all are willing to do. But yeah, here are some things that I definitely want to get into today. I definitely want to understand you as a person and where things started out for you. And then maybe get into how Mosaic Games came into the whole picture.
God. Right? Where's the liquor?
It's 11:30. I mean, it's not a problem, but...
no, it's 11:30 in the night in US.
It's 11:30 p.m. somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, but by the way, we also have this gift that Phalgun gave us today.
Namma Bengaluru. Yes.
It's called Namma Bengaluru. It's one of their popular games. So thank you for getting this.
You know what? We actually insisted on having the Kannada text on the box. Primarily because this is going to get sold everywhere, and people have heard about Bangalore and all the misconceptions they have about Bangalore. So, in fact, in Germany, when we were showing this, and this is the way you score, we were showing these cloud tokens. There are some cloud tokens which allow you to score, and they thought it was pollution. Smoke clouds.
Yeah.
I'm like, no. Bangalore is an amazing city with an amazing weather and climate and all that. And it was very interesting. All right.
Anyway, so let's start with something as basic as you kept mentioning in my previous Janma, we used to do this. In my previous Janma, we used to do that. So basically, there is this part of the story of Phalgun before Mosaic Games, right? So you don't just land up making like this board game company. There should be something behind it.
Wow.
So if you can tell us something about that and what your life looked like pre-Mosaic Games, I think that will be nice.
See, actually, to be honest, I mean, people who know me really well, they know that I'm obsessed with a couple of things, okay? And I'll go to any lens to implement it. In fact, almost every initiative of mine has been shot down by everybody. They're like, what? Like for example, I used to work in this IT company called Mindtree.
I know Mindtree. Oh,
you know Mindtree,
right?
Yeah, yeah, it was a very adorable place. They shipped me off to US within 6 months. I was still a child, okay, fresh out of a B school, and I'm like, in fact, I was so naive at that point of time. We had just finished one small project where I was a business analyst / developer / UX and UI guy, and trying to bridge the gap between the developers and the company that we're working for. Like, for example, the first project was with Franklin Templeton, and the tech team had no clue what they're doing. And I had to explain to them, dude, do you know what you're doing here? You're actually making reports for a mutual fund company where these reports are actually published everywhere, right? And even if one small mistake can mess up the entire report, right? Even because it's a snowball effect.
Yeah.
They were like, shit, that's when they realized. And we finished this whole project within 5-6 months. They gave one Time Pass award just because I went out of my way to give it. They used to give this thing called Spot Award, okay? It's like
Spot Award,
yeah, full
motivations.
And the HR guy comes to me and he says, do you have Visa? I said, I have MasterCard. Okay, and that was how innocent I was.
Yeah.
I never expected. I didn't care about going abroad and all that. I was like, I'm getting a salary. It'll pay for my hobbies. I'm good, right? So we went there, and I didn't realize that the first project I would be put it right in front of people who are handling Sony Pictures.
Wow.
In Hollywood. And I'm super jet lagged over there. This guy is showing me Spider-Man, some shit and all that. And for me, the first question I asked is like, so everything looks like Spider-Man. And they're like, oh, you're jet lagged. That's when I'm like, shit, okay. First impression gone down the drain. Anyway, so yeah, we worked in the media and entertainment, industry where we were building mobile apps for them. This was the age, probably 20 years back.
This is 20 years ago.
Yeah. Imagine BlackBerry, which had 30 kilobytes of data space. And we had to build an application and a database and all of that in that. And we used to build applications on that. Okay. That was when suddenly a boy studying in Bangalore shipped off to Hollywood. The cauldron of creativity. By the way, it looks like Majestic. Okay. I landed there. I'm like,
where is this? Where is Hollywood?
All those things you see in movies. It's like just one street. Okay, it's like MG Road. That's it. Everything else is BS. I mean, I shouldn't be saying this, but anyway.
Say.
So, homeless people lying everywhere. You go in the subway, homeless people everywhere. So I worked there for almost 2-3 years off and on. Got to work with some of the creme de la creme studios.
You were married then? Not married?
Not yet.
Okay.
Yeah. We were seeing each other.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were heavily, deeply in love. And
deeply in love.
Like, we were like, she gets a job in New York. I'm like, please send me to New York, Anta. And they're like, no, I'll get you a job, but in US. And they put me in California. I'm like, dude, that's like 6 hours away on a flight, man. Anta. Anyway, that's a long story. So, around that time, there's a lot of so I always used to be in joshed about starting initiatives primarily to help a bigger community. Okay. And another thing a lot of people who know me would say is I'm obsessed with documenting life.
Wow.
Okay.
I
think that's come
nice.
from a particular event in my life.
Okay.
Where I lost my dad at a very young age. Not young age, I had enough memories with
How
him.
old were you?
My PU had just started.
Okay.
And I
So
just
say
signed up for IIT classes and all
16.
that. Something like that.
Mm.
Whatever. So, age and all.
Mm.
So he was like a pillar for us in our entire family. For me, my sister, my mom, in fact, a lot of other people, because there were two massive, major qualities that he had. One was perfectionism, and second thing, to think out of the box, blow people's minds, right? Wow factor. He used to thrive for that. Okay. These two things with me, like in fact, so we were not so well off, right? I went to my cousin's place on during summer holidays, and we played Monopoly. I mean, in India it was called trade or business.
Business.
Right. And all wrong rules. Okay. I only learned the original rules when I actually read the rule book from Hasbro. I was like, shit, hingela idya anta.
Yeah.
So we used to play for like 3 days, 4 days, maintaining credit balances and all that. Everybody has done that.
Yeah.
In fact, you should not do that. The actual rules, the game finishes in an hour.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, we used to play the whole day.
Exactly.
I keep playing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the game, so like for example, okay, digressing from the topic, but quick addition. If you actually fall into a property and you don't have money, it immediately goes into an auction.
Oh.
And everybody, whatever money they have, they start bidding.
Makes
and
it
they
more
get
interesting, actually.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And even if you fall into a place and you can't pay the rent, immediately your properties go on auction.
Oh,
Did you know this?
Crazy.
So the game actually finishes in an hour.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, long story. So I came back home and I was like, Dad, telling my family at the dinner table that we played this game, we're obsessed with it. Can you buy me a copy? Right?
Of business.
And he was like, he looked at me, I have a better idea.
Okay.
Let's make our own. I was like, wow. And I was 9. Okay.
This is what, like 35 years ago.
Ages ago. Okay.
Shit.
And at that point of time, we had all these old notebooks. We take the rut of that and cut it,
Hardcover.
paste kg cardboard on that and write. I remember making my own rules just to make it even more juicy and all that. When I was 9. Okay. And beautiful thing is I found that entire set recently. I wanted to show it to you actually.
Super stuff.
Yeah, we renovated the house recently, a few months back, and my mom found this. She's like, "Do you want this? Or should I throw it?" I'm like, "What is it?"
No throwing it.
And then I'm seeing my dad's handwriting. It freaking looks like Century Gothic
Amazing.
font. Okay. And I'm like drooling at it. I'm like, shit, this is amazing.
Yeah. This is beautiful.
And
you should put up in your office.
it's there.
Yeah.
Anybody who comes, I show it to them.
Have you framed it? I mean, you should frame it.
No,
Do
it's
something
in
to
a-
preserve
It's
it.
in a antibacterial packaging.
Yeah. It should.
So no, it's
Yeah.
preserved well. But the thing I remember from him are two things. One is like this, make something out of something and blow people's minds, right?
Yeah.
And these are memories I have, like things that I cherish. And other thing is he had this camera, a Pentax manual camera. Okay, probably one of the most complex devices I have ever seen in my life. In fact, these digital cameras are chilre. Okay, in that that's when I got obsessed with. No, I mean even before that, he before we would go to any trip, he would sit with the manual, not rule book ante, manual of the camera. That's when he would start learning it, and he would be like, "Hey, Phalgun, you know what? You feature it there." And I'm like, "You're doing? Are you going to be using us as guinea pigs during the trip?" Anta? And he would take all these epic photos, and because of those photos, we remember all these events in our lives.
Yeah.
Just imagine if these weren't there. Like for
You'll not
example,
remember it.
right? Like for example, there was just one video where we have his original voice recorded.
Oof.
Can you imagine? Like it's been 25 years. I don't know how he sounds, right? And then you get that feeling when a close brother of his says something of particular word and you're like, "Daggan hodiyate." Oh my God, it just reminded me of my dad calling me that.
It sounds the same. Yeah.
Right? Because their voices are sort of... And there was just one video, which was the Gruha Pravesha video of our house, and he had to repeat a particular mantra, and he's laughing and all that. Today, when I see it, I'm like, shit, that's my voice.
You literally sound
yeah,
like him.
everybody
Yeah,
is like, that's Phalgun's voice, just
Yeah.
that the accent has changed. Right?
Wow. So
and
beautiful.
feels so good
Yeah.
when you listen to it,
Yeah.
right? And that's when I
Absolutely.
realized there are so many things in this world which just get washed away, right? And when you want to remember it again, nothing is available,
Yeah.
right?
Because
So
no one took the effort to
exactly, right?
record
So
it or preserve it. Yeah.
think about it. I mean, Indus Valley script. Nobody freaking knows what those symbols mean. And even today, using AI, they're not able to figure it out. How crazy is that? And it's one of the biggest civilizations in the world. I mean, when I say biggest, not like comparably or 10% bigger. No. This is like 3x bigger than any civilization. It's spread across the whole of Eurasia, right? And there's nothing known about it. Like, in fact, I was talking to some kid, Indian, in Netherlands. I was telling him about, that, we made this game based on Indus Valley civilization. He said, oh, I've never heard about it. Is it something like the Vikings? I'm like, what?
Yeah, there's no.
In my mind, I'm like, but, I was just telling him that, this is the thing. That's when I realized, during that stint at Mindtree, I found my dad's camera, and I was always a physics geek. Okay, optics was something which totally blew my mind.
Okay.
The whole concept that how big the aperture opens, blurs out the background, and it's called depth of field, and and stuff like that. I was always obsessed with it. And around that time, a lot of things happened which kind of set the stage for my next career, right? So there was a book which I came across called What Great Paintings Say.
Okay.
Okay. It was one rusty old book. I just wanted to buy it because I saw the excerpt and I was like, shit, this is so cool. Basically, you might have seen, right? All these paintings that you see, there will be one woman looking somewhere, the hand is somewhere holding something.
Yeah,
Why
yeah.
are they in that weird pose?
Yeah.
So there is actually something the painter is trying to communicate.
Yeah.
Okay. More importantly, what intrigued me was the Rembrandt painter's paintings. Okay. So this guy, I don't know if you know this, I'm diving into different. So I'm actually, I picked up cameras because I was traveling to and fro, and we started a photography community. In fact, we had a photo exhibition, a contest, and we exhibited everything. People would come and put their star ratings on it to say which one is good. And we did all this alongside a lot of other initiatives I used to do. And that's when I realized I loved photography and documenting life as is, right? So everybody was like, dude, you're so good at this, you should probably take this as a profession and all that. I'm like, okay. So I quit my job. I said, I'm going to do photography from now on.
Which year was
And
this?
everybody like,
This is
2010,
2009.
2009.
This is post Mindtree.
Yeah.
Okay,
While I was working at Mindtree,
Okay, that's when you found the camera and then you started these few
so I used to
ventures.
work with, so basically what happened at Mindtree was I scaled up really fast.
In the corporate ladder, you mean?
Sort of, you can say that. Basically, I had the freedom to choose what I want.
Yeah.
Okay, so I started as a business analyst. And I was sitting in front of this customer and this guy is saying, hey, in this website, I don't want this color, change it. Typically what happens, I have to tell the development team overnight. So it takes like a 24 gap. I'm like, dude, just give me Photoshop. I'll whip it up here only in front of them.
Yeah.
Okay. And whatever they want, align, change make it curved, whatever, I'll just whip it up in front of them. And then my boss's boss, he noticed this and he's like, dude, you're in the wrong thing. You join UX.
And that's
so
when
I
that
scaled
whole
up.
Hollywood scene.
No, after all that.
Through.
So I started interviewing. I became the creative champion for UX and all that stuff, and started interviewing design guys, and got introduced to so I come from an engineering and an MBA thing, right? So all ಬರೀ ಮೆಕ್ಯಾನಿಕಲ್ ಸ್ಟಫ್, ಲೇಬರ್ ಲಾಸ್, ವರ್ಕ್ ಸ್ಟಡಿ, ಟೈಮ್ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಅದೇ ಇರೋದು ನನ್ನ ತಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ. ಹೌ ಟು ಆಪ್ಟಿಮೈಸ್ ಸ್ಟಫ್. Suddenly I meet this design guys and there's like a whole different clan.
Yeah.
The way they think, the projects they do, the exercises they have done in school. I'm like, wow man, why the hell did I join engineering?
Yeah.
I wasted 4 years of my life.
Something else I could do.
Yeah, because these guys, they're so bloody creative.
Yeah. But you understand what they do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I see, fundamentally any design is about the end user.
Yeah.
If the end user is finding it difficult, however creative the idea might be or out of the box, it's
Doesn't
crap.
matter. Yeah.
Okay. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. Even in game design, they think about, oh, I got this great idea, man, it's going to be an amazing game. Anta. And I listen to it, or somebody listens to it, they're like, what are you talking about? What is this, snails and worms walking around? What kind of a game is it? Anta. Right? So, that's when I learned a lot from these designers how to empathize with the end customer and stuff like that, right? Around this time is when all this photography madness happened. Finding my dad's camera and then upgrading my camera to such an extent I could probably beat the Nat Geo photographer with the equipment I had. And everybody is telling me, dude, you should take this up as a profession. I actually took it as a profession by quitting Mindtree, and they were shocked. You actually quit and all. I'm like, yeah, you only told me.
But hold on, take what up as a profession?
Photography, professional
Just photography.
Yeah, just photography.
But photography of what?
Everything. So it could be corporates, it could be ads, it could be product
Anything.
photography, it could be weddings, it could be wildlife.
But
it could
photography.
be anything. Photography, right?
And you made that
Yeah,
shift.
so I stumbled upon this whole Rembrandt style of taking portraits where, half of his face is lit, the other half is not lit. I don't know if you know this. So during the Renaissance period, they started painting human paintings left, right and center, right? You started suddenly shift from abstract two-dimension stuff
human.
to super photorealistic 3D stuff, right? Around this time, these grandmasters, like Da Vinci and all these guys, they realized that when you paint a particular human, you need a light source. Why? Because light and shadow defines the profile of the person. So they realized there are primarily 2-3 ways of lighting a person. They didn't have two lights like this and all, right? They had window light or sunlight or something like that, or moonlight or candlelight or something. So based on that, they would draw the shadows. They realized there are only certain angles where you can actually, the human's face actually looks nice. Okay, not light up like this and all, right? Yeah. So he realized a lot of painters, like Da Vinci always uses a light which is 45 degree at an angle straight in front of you. Rembrandt experimented where he would move the light 45 degree angle from the vertical and then 45 degree on one of the axes to this side or that side, right? So what essentially would happen was this part would get lit because the light is here, and this part, the nose and the cheekbone would form a heart under the eye.
Oh.
Have you ever seen that?
No.
Google. It's amazing.
That's amazing.
So I started replicating this with real humans. Chuma, time pass. My first project, my cousin said, hey, this couple, they're very radical in thinking. They have never, they don't want a wedding, they don't want an engagement, they want to exchange rings in a private resort or some outdoor scene. This was 20 years back, okay?
That's
Even
radical.
before this whole word candid and all came in, which is used and abused right now.
Yeah.
So at that point of time, it was called photojournalist style of photography. I said, okay, first project,
Let me
Bakras I've got,
Paying some
something I
bills.
can add to the portfolio.
Yeah, I'll also pay some bills, no?
Yeah. That project changed my life. So I'm ready, my entire family is standing at the gate wishing me best of luck and all that, because they're also shocked. My mom was shocked when I said I'm going to do photography from today. She's like, what? Who is going to pay for medical bills? I'm like, that's your worry na anta. Not even medical bills, medical insurance. So I'm like, medical insurance is your worry na anta. And then full round table conference ತರ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂರಿಸ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು tell everybody what you're doing. All that has happened, and then I said, I'm doing what I want. Nobody can stop me.
Yeah. Do you have siblings?
Yeah.
How many?
Again, my older sister and my wife at that point of time also didn't. Shweta, we had just married. She also was like, do whatever you want.
In-laws?
That's a different story.
Do whatever you want or do whatever you want?
No, it's like, ಏನ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು I had a counter argument for that.
Yeah.
Basically telling them I found my calling.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm good at this. People love it. And I said, what's the worst that can happen? I'll try it for 2 years and join back. Right? They said, okay, if that's the thing, sure.
Yeah, give it a shot.
And first project, this couple comes. My cousin forgot to tell me a very important detail. She is blind.
Oof.
And I'm supposed to do photography where I tell her to look at me or look somewhere and all that. She's blind. Okay, she has this thing where the retina is detaching.
Okay.
So she can see that there is light, but that's it. She just knows if there is light or not.
Or not.
First time it hit me was when I told her to look at her fiance and she looked somewhere else. Thug anta hodito. And then I realized slowly that I'm actually documenting one of the most precious things in their lives.
Yeah.
Okay. They were so happy with that photo session that they said, I don't even want a wedding or an engagement. I'm done. This is good. Whatever photos you shared, and they described it and all that. People were blown away. This girl was super pretty. You can't even make out that she is blind. Okay. And that took off. I was like, okay, I think I'm onto something.
And you look at the timing in life, right, of these things happening.
Exactly.
That could have been your second shoot. That could have been your third shoot.
Absolutely.
But it's your first one.
Exactly. So these are the things which motivate.
And if they are not signs, what else is?
Exactly. Right.
What else is?
And you won't believe, dude, so many things happened after that. The kind of events that we captured and everything had a huge impact in someone's life, either mine or theirs. Okay. So I used to write blogs about my experience. It became like a Wikipedia for anybody who is getting into the wedding business or into corporate shooting. I had a lot of videos on how to use this particular camera, what settings are, some hacks and stuff like that. I had a travel video logger because I love traveling. As I told you,
Yeah. Yeah, we need to get into that next.
Yes. So that started. I did Cusp Concepts for 8 years.
So Cusp Concepts was the photography.
Yes. So Cusp Concepts was what I started. In fact, the logo, I designed it and because it's CCC, and my friend looked at it and said, hey, this looks like a chaddi. I'm like, damn you. Had to change it in the nick of time. It was pretty interesting. All my B school buddies who I used to have lunch with is like, I'm showing the business model to them. This is how I'm going to make revenue and all that. They're actually looking at it, telling me how much tax I'm going to pay out of this, and and they're like, you're on to something.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, okay. So I always wanted to do something.
So photography did kick in, like Cusp Concepts did.
But more importantly, it was a very important Venn diagram which I drew.
Okay.
Okay.
What did this Venn diagram consist of?
Yeah. So basically, it was like, what is it that I want to do with my life?
Okay.
Right. Later on, I realized this is called Ikigai. At that point of time, I didn't know what guy it was.
Ikigai?
Okay. I basically drew 3 Venn diagrams. What is it that I absolutely love doing? Okay. What is it that people would, pay for? Right? Are there people who would pay for this particular skill of yours? And the other one is like, what do I want to surround myself with every day? I get up, I want to be in this kind of a situation, I want to be in this kind of an office, right? Materialistic, passion, money, right? So these are the 3 things. What will actually fund my travel plans, my camera upgrades, my whatever, right? I drew this okay, I'm absolutely passionate about photography, anything creative, whatever. It could be website design, it could be photography, it could be videos, it could be, modeling, whatever. I mean, 3D modeling or sculpting. Yeah, not modeling. All right. So,
you never know.
yeah. So I did this, and I'm like, the center point was photography. Okay.
That's where
It's
all
a
the three
skill.
met.
It's a skill people are paying you for. There are no resources, there's no inventory, there is nothing. It's something intangible that people are paying for, right? That's when I was like, okay, sexy, this works well. And did it for 8 years. Started with Rembrandt paintings, ended with Rembrandt paintings.
Beautiful.
So we went to Switzerland or Paris, a family trip, and we went to Louvre Museum. I went to his lair in the Louvre Museum where all the Rembrandt paintings are. Sat there for almost an hour, took in as much as possible of everything, and I was like, it felt I've gone a full circle.
Yeah.
And then I was, okay, I think I'm done with this.
Amazing.
Yeah, and a lot of people, hey, at least this one corporate event coming, at least
Finish
at
that.
least that one, or that product ad video that you have. Because I used to attract a lot of creme de la creme artists, like photographers, cinematographers, video guys, and we used to set the sort of a vision and then go there, and I would give them the freedom to be creative. I wouldn't give them a sort of a scope and say, hey, they have asked for these shots, do this. You know how it is, right? There were so many things which happen. The moment you switch off the camera, right, the best things happen.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you'll be like, shit, you didn't document that.
Yeah.
Anta. So we never would let that happen. We always would be super vigilant and dive into their feet, like their shoes, and how would they feel if this was documented. Like, you will never know, right? The CEO walks in, pats the main guy on the thing, hey, good job, carry on, and goes. For that guy, that's such a precious moment.
Yeah, and
Right.
if it's captured.
In fact,
then
having
it's-
said all this, my cameraman have goofed up. I was standing with Pranay Roy, and I've grown up with him watching World this week and all that. And I'm talking to him, and I came and asked these guys, did you get anything? At least a photo or a video? Like,
Nothing.
no, I was waiting for you to stop and pose it. Like,
should have just clicked.
I can't believe you didn't document this. And I was like, shit, anyway, never mind, forget it, Anta. But around this time, there was one project I took up, which
Around the
also is
time
one
when
of
you
the
were
reasons.
feeling you
when
were
I-
done.
Yeah. I retraced my dad's footsteps in Paris.
Okay.
It might sound really weird, but if you actually Google for Phalgun 35 years footsteps or whatever, you will notice this wonderful blog somebody else has rendered from what I had written. It's some magazine which picked up the whole thing. So it was basically, I stumbled upon my dad's photos that he had taken when he had gone to Paris when I was 4 years or 3 years old. Okay. And as I said, he loves photography. So because of those photos, right? So when I started Cusp Concepts, without telling Shweta, I booked tickets to Paris because the ticket was some 25,000 rupees.
For both of you.
25,000, I booked it off. First salary, 1 year, I have survived. Anta, I booked off tickets to Paris. We go there, I got a lot of pictures. I freaking lugged around a 5D Mark II with a 24-105 lens all around Paris. And somebody told us, we thought Europe is always cold. Anta, we took warm clothes and that place was freaking, it had a heat wave. And I was sweating with this freaking huge camera. And but the photos are amazing.
Sure.
Some of the pictures that have come from there have become imprinted in everybody's brains now. So the second time we were going to Paris with our in-laws, I was just looking at those photos, and suddenly, until then, 2017 or 16, until then I hadn't realized there's freaking so much amount of overlap with his photos and my photos without me knowing.
Yeah.
And these are not even popular monuments out there. Okay, so there was one picture. I was just going through. I was like, hey, wait, I have also taken a photo like this. And I compared. Okay, some random fountain. Okay, and I took a picture of that, and I'm comparing 35 years gap. I have a picture of him in front of that fountain. Exact fountain.
Oh.
Exact angle, exact everything.
And you didn't know this.
I didn't know this. So I stumbled upon this. I'm like, shit, okay. Then I started digging. I found at least 10 photos. Okay. And then I was like, okay, this is going to be his, birthday again. On his birthday, we were in Paris. Again, fully coincidental. I reshot some of the photos which I used to always be impressed. Okay. Then I realized he was such a kirik party, my dad. He has broken all rules.
Okay.
Okay. So there is one, to give you an example, there is one photograph where he's taken a picture of the Eiffel Tower with statues in front of it. I go there to the exact spot. I'm like wondering, statues are there. Eiffel Tower is here. Where the hell did he go and take a picture? And that too with the film camera, with looking through a viewfinder. How do I take this photo? And I'm imagining. So, you won't believe how it is, okay? So this is where the statues are, like double the height, all right? On that platform, there are statues. Below that platform, there is a fountain. Okay, and after that fountain, there's a seating area. No, he's climbed there. He's climbed to that freaking platform to take that picture. Okay, and everywhere it's written, don't put your foot on the wall, don't do this, don't do that. I'm like, how the hell did he climb there? Because I'm trying out every possible angle, climbing on someone's shoulder and trying to see this and all. Not able to get that angle. It's like this with the statues below him. Sorry, and I climbed. I took a couple of pictures. Police came running towards me. Two of them. I'm like, shit, and then that is when I realized, oh, he has broken rules. He'll do anything for a photograph. Okay. And, then the emotional hit was when there was one picture where he's standing in front of the Eiffel Tower. I counted the number of steps. Even I stood in the exact spot. 35 years later, in the same place. The goosebumps I had and the feeling it went. My dad was also here. Yeah, because, all that emotion, like, I wish he saw me at this age. I wish he saw my son. I wish he met my wife. The kind of life we have and stuff like that. I took I don't know, it was like, oh man, I think I'm done with this. And around that time, we used to travel a lot. And that's when I went to Japan and changed my life.
Okay, so when you had started traveling, in a way you were done with photography and you had come to a point where it had saturated.
At a point where, in Telugu they call it vegutu.
What is that?
When you eat a lot of jamuns, next time you see jamun, you'll be like, oh my God, I'll vomit if I see it.
So there was this phase of your life that was getting done.
Yeah.
Right? So now, obviously you like traveling and now you go to Japan. Right? Now, what happens in Japan that changes everything again?
So the last country my dad visited before the accident happened was Japan.
Okay.
He went there, came back as a completely changed man. We were like, what the hell happened? What did you do in Japan that changed your life? His food habits changed. The way he looked at life changed. Okay.
Wow.
I mean, something is there. And he kept going on and on and on and on about how amazing
Japan.
The culture is, how amazing the country is, how amazing the people are, and tech and everything. And humans are such wonderful people. I'm like, can't be true. I've traveled all over. They're all assholes everywhere. Right? And dude, I'm telling you, my trip to Japan and my trip to China are the other ends of the spectrum. Though they look the same and have exactly the same transport facilities, exactly the same stuff. Anyway, so I booked off a ticket to Japan because I had Citibank miles or something. And
but somewhere the motivation was that your dad had spoken
my dad had been
highly about it. And There was some calling that, okay, you know what?
Correct.
I haven't yet done this.
Yeah, I had.
Let me do it.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you know, I booked a ticket,
Mm.
full backpacking trip only. Took a backpack and realized, hey,
You and
so
your wife
cool.
again?
No, just me.
Okay.
Me and my cousin. You know, we just went because he was the only. I have a huge gang of cousins. Okay, like 20 people or something, 20, 25 people. He was the only guy who is like this.
Ready to.
Ready to go, you know, like take off morning, spontaneous idea, go, let's go.
Let's move.
And I don't have to worry about taxis or transportation or AC or, you know, food and all that. We live like, you know, people in the forest.
Yeah.
So we went there. And he loves sushi.
Okay.
So, I mean, he loves seafood. Until then, we hadn't experienced what sushi was. We go there, and what blew my mind.
What did you want to do? You knew your dad spoke highly of it, but what did you want to do?
Yeah,
You
at
just wanted to
Japan,
see
I
the
really
place.
wanted to experience Japan. Actually, there is one particular thing. He had taken a photo of Mount Fuji from the plane. And it looked breathtakingly amazing. Imagine a freaking volcano. Can you imagine seeing a volcano? You know how majestic it looks? Oh, man. Anyway, so that was something on my bucket list. I have to see Fuji. Japan is Fuji. That's it. And food. So my itinerary was fully open. I was like, explore.
Let's see.
Yeah. My cousin, he organized the treks and all, okay. He only thinks in terms of, oh, you decide this destination, that'll take 45 minutes to go, 45 minutes to come back. I'm like, dude, relax.
Let's see where it
let's
goes.
let's explore. You know, iದೇನೋ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ, let's go check it out. Evening we are free, we'll go just explore. So we're doing all this. All throughout this time, one amazing thing you'll notice is, dude, the people in Japan, they are angels. Okay, to such an extent, you won't believe this. So, you know how it is, right? Like, you ask this bus, you knock and say, does this go to this destination? What do you typically get? Straight hogi, right hogi, salpa munde hogi, ashte alva. The driver, in the middle of the traffic, stopped the bus, came out, showed us full, with motion, how far to go. You have to run because we don't understand a word coming out of their mouth.
So he's trying to
The
mime it
driver,
as much
dude,
as possible.
left the bus. I'm like, please go. You know, the people waiting in the bus, please go. You know, he's not going. He's made sure that we have the information. Not once. This happens every time. You go into a store and ask them, are we in the right track?
They'll drop
They'll
everything.
leave the billing counter and come to the out through the road and show you this is the way you should go. It's ridiculous. They will.
What makes them like that?
Exactly, right? So that's when we started realizing that was the time when they got hit by the nuclear, that, you know, there was a meltdown and all that, right? So their culture, like, you know, the streets are freaking clean and all that. And then slowly you get introduced to a whole different culture, which is called minimalism. They live such a minimalistic life. Obviously, right? They can get hit by an earthquake or a tsunami anytime. You don't want to be grabbing things, lose all your materialistic things.
They want to have as less as possible around
Exactly,
them. Yeah.
right? That minimalism concept comes through in every way.
Beautiful.
3 shirts, 2 pants, 1 pair of shoes. That's it. That's all they have. No fancy dining table, no fancy center table, nothing. That's the reason they sit on the ground, they sleep on the ground, right? They just put 1 foot on, sleep there. That's your bed. I'm like, yo, chape. My butt will go.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm like, you know, I'm looking at all this, and then they were telling me stories that when an earthquake happens and buildings and, you know, or a flood happens, you know, the stuff is flying out of your house and floating out and all that. Other person will never come and take your belongings. Never. Because they respect that. Can you believe that happening? When the freaking COVID hit, you know how US was. They were scrambling for toilet paper, right?
Yeah. People were fighting.
Yeah, they were fighting, breaking all these electronic stores, taking TVs and PS5s and stuff like that, PS3s or whatever. That never happens in Japan. They don't even have fences to their houses. There are no police. You will not see a police car go anywhere. That is the trust. You know how they demarcate areas that this is my area and this is your area? ಒಂದು ಕಲ್ಲು ತಗೊಂಡು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬಟ್ಟೆ ಕಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. That is my boundary ಅಂತ. I'm like, ಕಲ್ಲು. Can you believe it? Here you put barbed wire and granite stones and all that.
So what is it like? All the experiences that the geographic region has gone through has made them that humble? Is that what has happened?
Yeah. See, the thing is, a lot of our culture, or the exposure that we have to different cultures, is all by the Westerners.
Yeah.
They are the ones who got this whole, I
More
will
than that, what media is selling.
publicize, I will broadcast about this country, that country, and all that. And even Indian history is all written by the Westerners, right? So even for Japan, I don't know if you know this whole history of Japan, like China and Japan. The British tried really hard to conquer. Americans tried really hard to conquer. In fact, the reason why the samurais died is because of the American intrusion. Yeah. So they put that into the, at that time, the king's head, that all these feudal lords are not going to help. You need to unify it. Democracy is the way to go. You have to vote for one person. And that meant killing a lot of samurais.
Oh, damn.
So almost 8,000, 9,000 samurais were killed in a span of...
What a loss. What a loss of culture.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Cigarettes were bought into the thing because they wanted to bribe with something. And so Japanese were all actually called xenophobic all this while. That's what we studied in college and all that. If you look at cultures, Japanese are xenophobic. Xenophobic, they have the fear of travelers. Can you believe it?
Crazy.
And you go there and it's the opposite. They're like, we will come and show you everything. We will carry you if you want to that place.
Yeah.
And who the hell is saying this or setting all these standards and stereotypes? That's when I realized every freaking content out there about Asia is by the Westerners.
Yeah. And it's done with a certain intention.
It's amazing. Like, there are so many instances where, there is this one place, Fukushima, what am I saying? Fushimi Inari Anta. It's a temple. It's a Buddhist temple, by the way. So it's amazing that you actually get Indian rice and curry there because of Buddhism.
Wow.
It's fascinating. Okay.
Amazing.
So there is a lot of overlap with Indian culture there. We go there, Fushimi Inari Anta. It's like, this was one of the things which kind of... So they actually built these orange gates. I don't know if you've seen. Right? To immortalize your dream or your wish.
Okay.
They will pay lakhs to build a gate like that. If you just Google for Fushimi Inari, you will see 4-kilometer stretch of stairs up the mountain with lakhs and lakhs and lakhs of torii gates. All big wooden logs, 7-8 feet above, or not even 7, 10, 20 feet.
So what's
above.
the belief?
They believe they have as I said, there's an overlap with the Indian this thing. Like, you write your wish and you put it there or tie it to a branch, you execute it somehow. It's like, you have this thing that... so they have these very interesting habits and mannerisms, okay? I learned a lot from them. Like, when a ticket collector comes to the platform, like the train stops at a platform, he comes out and he just points his hand like that. In fact, you'll notice this everywhere in Japan. A guy gives you a coffee, and even before that, he does that with a hand.
Okay.
Like, as if he's double checking that I have done this. Okay. That actually helps with a lot of things, with your execution also, right? A lot of people tell you this every day, write in one paper, stick it on the wall, you get up and see that thing first thing in the morning, somehow the universe will come together and make it happen and all that, right? It's because your mind is working and 24/7 thinking about it, right? Same thing you'll notice all over here. Everything is Japan is perfectionism into 10. It's crazy.
So all these operators are doing that.
Operators, shopkeepers,
So
and
it's like a reinforcement. It's a reinforcement to themselves.
Yeah, and many things, dude. I can't even tell you. There are so many things that they do. Like, for example, even a guy who cleans or even the ticket collector, when he comes into any bullet train, okay, they will check your tickets, turn around, look at everybody, bow 2 times, and then go. Why should he bow? That's the amount of respect he has for other people.
Amazing.
I'm telling you, dude, 450 rupees visa, ticket is some 40 rupees, 40,000 now, go and come back. You will be blown away. It's the culture of India you wish.
How many days should I go?
10 days.
10 days? Enough?
Yeah. I'll give you the itinerary also.
Decided.
It's just amazing, dude. And I come back to India and I'm looking at all this crazy creativity and perfectionism. Think about it. Canon, Nikon cameras you're shooting. Every freaking camera you can think of is from Japan. Look at the precision that you need. Even the printers, even the cars that come out of that place. Even the food, dude.
So in all this, where did the Mosaic Games...
Exactly. So I'm looking at all of this and I'm looking at perfectionism, immortalization, and how I always like memories to be immortalized and stuff like this.
It's all coming together.
Right. And I'm thinking about all of this and I'm thinking, okay, naan yen marta idini illi anta. And full karma yoga and all that came into my mind and I'm like, what is my purpose here? Right? I'm breaking my back doing all these shoots. 2 days I can't get up. What am I doing? Why am I stressing my life, putting my life on the edge and, doing it like as if I'm going to die tomorrow, tara? That's when I realized life is short, carpe diem, seize the day, right? What can I do where the next 10 years is going to be on autopilot?
Yeah.
Where I don't have to worry about my family's well-being and stuff like that. Funds all of this. At the same time, how can I showcase this crazy creativity I just came across in Japan, in India? Okay. I come to India, like, I told you about the story about going to Toys R Us in Japan and Toys R Us all over the world. Japan Toys R Us are next level, right? Yeah. Modularity where you can actually make custom whatever you want and the kind of choice that you have. Like imagine you're building Barbie set, you can choose the photos you put on the wall. To that level of modularity. How many chairs I want in the table, in the dining set. That level of modularity and fantastic. Kai kaalala move agate ishte $. I'm like, how are they doing this crazy amount of precision, right? And then I come to India, there's nothing for Indians.
But when you were leaving Japan, I understand as the trip was happening, obviously the culture is influencing you, you're questioning your purpose, etc., etc. But did it all come together at Toys R Us?
No, after I came back.
So when you were at Toys R Us, you had still not decided to do something
But I started thinking of something.
You were like, okay, something might come out of this.
I was thinking of making a custom marble run. You know what a marble run is? Like if you leave one thing, it go tuck, 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 tuck. And all kinds of things happen. So, metal ball, people will pay whatever they want. Just imagine for a birthday, the kid can design the thing and we make it for him, make an app or whatever, and outsource it to one design agent who will keep making this and I make money. That was the idea.
Done. So you come back, know what happens.
Yeah, so I come back, my mind is exploding with everything. Then one thing became very clear. I want to make India proud. I want to put India on the world map somehow, That's one of the main reasons why we didn't even go abroad to study and all of that. Though we were, asked to go by everybody, begged to go there. Like, no, I want to be in India. Who's going to take care of India? But, it was a hardcore patriot. So I wanted to do something epic coming out of India. Perfectionist to such an extent, people should be blown away that it came from India, a small city like Bangalore, right? And what is it that I can do here, right? I look at all of this Japanese culture and all that. Nam culture and kammina. We are one of the oldest civilizations still having the same traditions and cultures. We have infinite stories to tell. And, we were always into board games all this while. We got exposure to board games because we used to travel, and every time we'd go to our friends, they would be like, hey, Saturday night is game night anta heldagala. We used to go there, and they wouldn't be drinking beer and play poker. They would be playing a strategy game there, right? So that's when we got stumbled upon this, and we loved gaming. So I'm thinking, okay, I love board games. I want to put India on the map. I want to do something epic, super creative, telling stories, immortalizing stories in a form of a board game. Okay, toy, board games, comics, everything was there. That was the origin of Dice Toy Labs. When I started Dice Toy Labs, everybody like, oh, innond company na, okay.
Just another.
How long are you going to be here?
Just another thing.
Exactly. And my wife was still working, and that was when I started this thing called Loka. That was our first experiment. Loka as in the world. But the story is it's post-apocalyptic, and the world is...
So it's a board game.
It's actually a universe that we created. In the sense, there's an comic, there's an augmented reality app, there's construction kits where you can build an entire city from the post-apocalyptic thing and point your camera at it, something and all will happen. Then action figures, then board games and all of that.
But under Loka.
Under Dice Toy Labs, Loka was our first IP.
Okay, but Dice Toy Labs, when you registered it, the idea was?
To make everything.
Okay.
That's why it was Dice Toy Labs, right?
Oh, yeah,
design,
okay.
Yeah, design intelligent, complete, engaging toys and games. That was the origin of that. So Loka was our first IP.
Wow.
I hope I'm not boring.
No. This is like, the beauty of it is as you listen, right? It's all coming together. It's really like filtering. This is where you started, and then it's filtering and filtering and filtering.
Most of the time,
and everything is connected. Everything is connected.
For example, they'll ask you, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Why can't anybody else do this? That's what everybody asks.
Yeah.
ನಿನ್ಗೂ ಇದೇ ಕೇಳಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಯಾರು ಪಾಡ್ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋರು, ನೀನೇ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾ?
It'll add up.
Right. So they don't understand there's a lot of parameters and chemical reactions that are going on in your body, which is driving
It's
you
crazy,
to do
right? So because for a person, for me, listening to this experience, it is perfect. There is no other way this journey can be.
Yeah.
But for you, the one who's walking the journey, you're always just getting pulled by the energy. You're not able to see what's next, but you're just getting pulled, and you're like, okay, let me listen to the intuition. Let me take this courage. And that's all you can do.
See, that's what I keep thinking. If I didn't go to Paris the second time, it wouldn't have changed my life. If I didn't go to Japan, it wouldn't have changed my life. Imagine, if you didn't travel, you wouldn't have seen the delta between the two cultures.
Yeah.
Right? And when you see the delta is huge, right, the difference, that's when you'll be like, shit, where the hell did I land? What is this place? Anta, right? That blows your mind. And that didn't happen when I went to China. It was... Oh my God. Anyway, so at the start of Loka, we wanted to make action figures. We were searching for manufacturers in India. Yaru irlilla. Alright, they were making it, but they were only exporting. And that was like a tax holiday they would get. So they would not make anything for the domestic market. It's like a SEZ of sorts, right? So we were super disappointed. Like, ishtalla dreams itkom bandidivi. Can't believe in the whole of India, there's not one person. Dude, we went to a plastic expo, and I'm talking to all of these guys, showing these things. Can you make it? Can you make it? Can you make it? They've never seen it in their life. Okay. And I'm talking to this guy, he's like, now bucket on the madodu, idella baralla. And I'm showing him action figures. And we go there. We come back to Bangalore. I'm like, am I doing the right thing? Right? And around that time, I was a big fan of Jack Ma from Alibaba.
Yeah.
And I just went to Alibaba and, put a request for a quotation. This is the illustration. So I started working with a lot of illustrators through Upwork, which is a freelancing site, right? At that point of time, where I didn't have to search for an artist and all. I just went to Upwork, somebody designed the logo for me, somebody designed the characters, and it was all done by some Romanian, somebody sitting in Europe somewhere. And they were whipping it out for me, okay? Epic stuff. And actually, you won't believe this. So the characters, I'll show you the characters, you'll be blown away. So it's called Loka Awakens, okay? Means the earth has the Mother Earth, as a mother, it has figured out a way to survive, okay, and take care of the planet. Okay, so that's the whole origin of the Loka thing, where you won't believe it. It's actually so goosebumpy. If I start telling you, you will not believe it. So I stumbled upon this article. It's a real article. You can Google for this. It's called LUCA, Luca, Last Universally Common Ancestor. So they actually found that in the ocean, where every DNA of every living thing on the planet has a 90% overlap with this particular cell.
This is real.
It is real.
What are you saying, boss?
I'm not kidding. You can search for LUCA, Luca. And
serious?
yeah, I stumbled on this and I'm like, shit, that is so cool. What if a Luca version 2.0 comes out, which is more resistive to climatic change, which is more resistive to things that are happening?
Basically makes humanity
survive, because
immortal.
it's a new formula
Yeah.
for the DNA which can beat all of this.
We become immortal. Yeah.
Sort of. Not
Yeah.
immortal. You can survive longer, right?
Okay.
So I made this whole concept that 100 years into the future, you should see the video and the comic and all. Sakkadaಗಿದೆ. Okay, it was written by a senior of mine. She can't talk fluently. She stutters, stammers, but ಬರೆಯೋದಂತೂ ಸಕ್ಕದಾಗಿ ಬರೀತಾಳೆ. Okay. She wrote the story and it'll give you goosebumps. Believe me. Every day I would get up, the first 6 months before I set up Dice Toy Labs, I was sanctioning artwork left, right and center to everybody across the world. And there was one guy from Philippines who started doing the character art sketches for me. I would draw some time pass thing on the
And then
iPad, I would send him, he would flesh it out. Like, I had to describe the person, right? What expression,
for him to,
how he should look, how should the build be, what should he be wearing and stuff.
Got it.
Tumba kashapadiದ್ದೀನಿ. So he would send a sketch and I would paint it on Photoshop.
Man.
Okay. And you won't believe it, this artist turned out to be the top 6 best anime artist in the world. And I'm working with him. That is the advantage that I had setting up something like this in 2020. 21st century. I have access to these things across the world. Like, for example, China, they're making my action figures. You saw the Yuddhabhumi figures, right? The 3D modeling is done somewhere in Romania or Georgia or somewhere. He would send me the file. I would 3D print it overnight, check the thing if it's standing or there's something disproportionate. I send it to China. China guys put the joints and all that, send the file back to me, 3D printed overnight in Bangalore, check it. Can you imagine doing this 15-20 years back?
Impossible.
I'm doing this overnight in a week. I had 8 characters, some 16 characters, and 3D printed all of them, and I'm taking it, and that's when I sent a picture to Siddharth and said, hey, check this, we are working on this. He's like, what the hell is this you're working on? And we changed a lot after that. Around this time, I had to go to China to check out the manufacturing and all that, because nobody in India were doing, and China did an amazing. Dude, you won't believe it. So action figures and these minis is what we wanted. The action figure had a lot of joints, okay. We have a beautiful character called Aira, okay. She's gorgeous, and wanted an action figure of that. So some of the main characters were Nalanda, Agni, Aira anta, Baldev anta, one Sardar action figure. You see the artwork, you'll be like, is this Indian? You won't believe it. Around this time, we had almost 25,000 followers on Facebook. I still didn't have Instagram then because I had a Nokia phone. Okay. So, I'm doing this on Facebook and all the comments are like, are you Indian? Is this really Indian? And all that. Because until then, when we said we are making toys or games and stuff like that, they were like, oh, chaukabara. Ayo, illappa, not wood. Let me show you what we're doing. And they would go back with widened eyes. What the hell have you done, Anta? So I go to China to see if they're doing a good job. This fellow sends the sample to me before of the action figure. Obviously, like when you put an RFQ, everybody, we got some 1,000, people reach us. Like an Indian, I chose the cheapest guy who will make the action figure for $100. I'm like, 100 rupees, China? Oh man, obviously it's China, $100 ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ. It came after 6 months. I poured in money into this. It looked like she's worn the chaddi ulta. Okay, it's like the backside is forward and everything is ulta. I'm like, shit, I just wasted 6 months of my time, 2-3 lakhs on this, and this is what I get. Anta. I was so disappointed. Okay. And then I had to like really recover from that and then go to China. I go there. My cousin is funding all of this. Okay. My super sweet cousin called Vamshi. He was like, he's been like a close brother of mine. We share a lot of things from when I was a child. I've taught him stuff and he's taught me stuff. So he was the first guy who was like, dude, I have this idea. He's like, he calls me Gunana.
Gunana.
Anna, right? Gunana, whatever you need, I'm here to support. And I told him, I need around 2-3 lakhs. He's like, 2-3 lakhs, I'll give you 10 lakhs, take. I'm like, wow, okay, I love you. And then I do all of these experiments. Money is going down the drain. I have nothing solid yet. You know that feeling? The people staring at you. This guy is one 35-year-old guy who's taking such a huge risk. Not other people of his age are buying flats
coming
and
back.
everything.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like draining money here, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I think I should make a trip to China and see. Al Hodre, that country is only manufacturers. Okay. You land, like in India, there are 3 clusters. Cluster andre, like for example, you want a remote control car to be manufactured. The wheels are done somewhere, the rubber is done somewhere, the motors are done somewhere and all, right? China, India lilla capability iglo. So I went there and there's like 5,000 different factories. In road al hogta idre ondond dod factory kanista irutte. Okay. Shenzhen anta. If you want to see how the what do you say? You know, these scenes where in Star Wars and all, they go to this Tauti. I mean, what is it? Tauti. I forgot the name. Anyway, you go to these cities and you pick up spares and stuff like that. And imagine Big Bazaar. Okay? Where there's a metal crate that are dumped with everything. Whatever freaking spare part you want, that is Shenzhen. You can build your freaking iPhone in McDonald's. Ashtu spare parts sigatte. Okay. And I'm going there. I'm totally blown away. I'm looking at all this and I told them skin color beku figure ge andre orange color kurkure tara madkotbididanu avanu. And I'm like, shit, and I had to change everything. And they had no clue what they were making, so I made them play and they enjoyed it. Last 2 days I had some time to chill. Oh, by the way, in all of this, when I said I'll go to China, my family freaked out. They're like, my father-in-law said, I will come with you, anta. Okay, anta, he came with me. So I'm taking him all around. Last 2 days, we said we'll go to deeper inside China and stay in one village, anta. Al hodre, oh, for you, we are giving you a very special room, andro. Oh, nice, anta. Hog nodidre, full peacock ella hingella madittu that towel. Then there's a tub and with petals and all that. I'm like, what did they think?
what have you come here for?
Then we're like, uncle, chill, don't worry about all this. I think they thought it's a honeymoon suite kottpididare namge. Okay, let's have fun anta. Alli, I'm digressing a bit, but dude, China is next level, dude. They will not understand English. Okay, you say excuse me, hello, whatever you do, you scream at the top of the voice in front of their face, they will not react. The moment you say ni hao, they will respond. Full tirigbitu drama tara, oh, you ask me something tara tirugtare. Al tanka you scream whatever you want, they will not turn. Okay, so ni hao antakshna, the response to is ni hao ma anta. First of all, I'm learning all this, I'm laughing my ass off, okay. And then we go there. Next day, I had planned out an entire trip. I booked a trip, okay. Car, ella book ಮಾಡಿ driver, whatever, sightseeing and all that. 5 o'clock, a woman driver comes there in one fancy car, okay. She doesn't understand a word of English. I'm like, shit, we are screwed. And first of all, we go there thinking China, Hong Kong is freaking hot and we didn't take any warm wear. It was minus 3 degrees.
You've got the weather wrong a lot of times.
So we went and bought some cheap shit in China. So inside the mainland, no, everything is a copy. Duplicates, like Peppa Pig is called Happy Pig Atra. Okay. I got a Burberry's car for 150 rupees. Can you imagine? Okay. But actual main cities are people only buy branded stuff and all. So we bought some time pass scarf, time pass thing, because we need to keep ourselves warm. And somebody told us this particular place you're going, it's called Guilin Anta. You might have seen like Kung Fu, all these movies, you'll see these tall mountains, right?
Yeah.
We went there. We wanted to go there. So we get into this car at 5 o'clock in the morning. The car starts reversing. And suddenly my uncle is like, hey, I've dropped something. ನನ್ನ scarf ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಬೀಳ್ಸ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ ದಾರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕತ್ಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ. I mean, in the dark, tell her to stop. I have yelled stop. I have patted the seat and said stop, stop, stop. I patted her shoulder and said stop, stop, stop. She kept saying only on ni hao, and probably she thought I'm like supremely excited tourist over here. Yeah, I'm like, finally I Google what the hell is stop in Chinese. It's ting ante. And I'm like ting 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 ting. Like gante nothing is happening. Okay, she's still saying ni hao. I'm like, probably I'm saying it right and I mean wrong anta. I search again, play it anta, and I say ting anbekanta. I was like, furious there. And she's not reacting, okay? She just went off. And the next signal, I typed the entire thing on Google Translate and showed her we had dropped something. We asked you to stop, and she felt miserable after that. But this language gap,
it's crazy.
Oh my God, I laughed my ass off in China. So one thing I realized is, so all of these Japanese trains run in China. China has an infrastructure which can whip out anything. There's nothing which can stop them. Nothing. Okay, you want lithium, you get lithium. You want batteries, you get. You want plastic items, steel items, metal items, whatever freaking thing you want, you'll get it in China. Okay, for chiller. Okay, then I realized, I mean, if you look at it, like 8 o'clock, if they say they have to be at work, 8 o'clock they're at work. Okay, that is the kind of discipline they had. Trains and everything, perfect timing, perfect everything. I am feeling threatened here. Shit, India gain chance illa anta to beat these guys.
But you've gone back to China the second time? Or
First time.
This is the first time in China.
In China. Like
Okay.
Hong Kong ella ಹೋಗಿ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀನಿ. For manufacturing ಹೆಂಗಾಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂತ we went there.
But did you get something sorted from that trip?
It was all sorted. I met the manufacturer. I clarified a few things. Understood what are the actual costs. Paint job. Like for example, if you have a T-shirt, just blue idre ಒಂದು. ಬ್ಲೂಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹೈಲೈಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಹೌ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಎಫರ್ಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಇನ್ವಾಲ್ವ್ಡ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದೀಸ್ ಫಿಗರ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಇವನ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಟೆಲ್ ಮಿ 1 million ಪೀಸಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಡು ಅಂದರು ಇಟ್ಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಗೋನ್ ಟು ರೆಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೊನೆನ್ಷಿಯಲಿ ದಿ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಮ್ಯಾನುಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಚರಿಂಗ್ ವಿ ಇನ್ ಆರ್ ಹೆಡ್ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ರೈಟ್ 1,000 ಬದಲು 10,000 ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ರೈಟ್ ಇವನ್ ಟುಡೇ ಅ ಲಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಆರ್ ಲೈಕ್ ವಾಲ್ಯೂಮ್ ದಟ್ kind of gave us a lot of exposure to the manufacturing capability of the world. And believe me, there was nobody who was assisting us. There was nobody who just had a clue about anything.
You're going by your own...
Yeah, we are figuring out AR, we are figuring out, artwork and creative, stuff and manufacturing of
And this is all for Loka. This is all for Loka.
All for Loka.
And Loka was the only product that Dice Toys was...
So Loka was what we were known for almost a year.
Okay.
And then we parked.
What is it? Is it, I mean, I understand there are multiple sides to it, but is it a game?
It's a universe, as I said.
Okay.
In fact, there are so many companies from
Singapore. And there are different things under Loka that you can sell.
Imagine, like there are multiple characters. Finally, a character with a personality, right? And it was not superheroes. We were hell-bent on not making superheroes as an IP.
Yeah.
Right? So, like for example, I don't want my child to say, hey, look at this Spider-Man. I want you to be Spider-Man. That's stupid.
Yeah.
Right? I'd rather say, this particular character has this kind of a personality. Pick the personality. Right?
Yeah.
So that's what we wanted to kind of communicate to the children and stuff. So we started developing these characters and all of that.
But along with Loka, what else was there at the time?
So around this time, Bahubali came out.
Okay.
And you know how it is, right? It was like Bahubali was such a craze and... if Star Wars comes out or Jurassic Park comes out, there are toys filled up all over the place.
Yeah.
Can you believe there is no merch around Bahubali? Nothing.
That's so crazy.
Right.
Nobody thought of it.
Nobody. I mean, they don't have the balls to actually take a risk and do this. In fact, even Fun School and all these other companies, they didn't.
Nobody did it.
Yeah, nobody stepped into it.
Someone should have. Yeah.
Somebody should have, right?
Yeah.
I had some money. So that Chinese manufacturer, another Chinese manufacturer said, yeah, ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, it's not much, ಇಷ್ಟ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, it fit into my budget. I put it into motion. I didn't ask anybody. It just, so I have this rule for any idea. It has to survive a 3-night process.
In your
So,
head.
yeah, in my head. So
If
if
it
I'm
survives
very
it, then
excited on one day,
give it another 2 nights.
give it, sleep over it.
3 more
If
nights.
the third day,
Is the same thing that
do you have
continues,
the same passion about it?
then you do it.
Otherwise, believe me, 95% of the
Of
time,
the things, yeah.
I was like, oh, what was
It's
I
just,
thinking? That's such a
yeah.
dumbass idea.
Mood swing. That's
Exactly.
all.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you know, you're so excited
Yeah,
and then you
yeah.
get exposure, you start researching, and then you're like, oh, this is not great. So this particular thing stuck on, and Yuddhabhumi was born. So I made characters with badass poses, like archer, full doing this and all that. And I was always working like this. Even when I was in photography and all that, I always worked like this. I didn't care about this
Yeah,
artist
yeah.
does
Yeah,
this,
yeah.
this artist does. Oh, you're
Just do
following
your
this
thing.
artist.
Yeah.
ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ನಂಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. I used to do my own thing and then discover that, oh, even this guy does the same thing. So I did the same thing with Yuddhabhumi figures as well. In that process, I realized we just made the most amazing figures ever in forget Indian history, even in the world.
But Yuddhabhumi is based on Bahubali? Is that what it is?
Bahubali inspired us.
Okay.
We realized that actually it was based on Chakravyuha. And then one Hindu community in US told us you can't allow children play with gods and control gods and throw them around and all. So if you ever do this, we'll burn your stuff and all. ಏನೇನೋ ಕಳಿಸ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ರು Instagram ಅಲ್ಲಿ. I'm like, shit ಅಂತ. Then we're like, okay, I think we better steer clear. It's my first business. ಇನ್ನು ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ಸೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. I'm investing into ideas. And then we did Yuddhabhumi. Did this super badass stuff. And that year, November, was Comic-Con in India, in Bangalore. Some more money I poured into it, and we wanted to see if it'll work. Because I'd rather, that was like it, okay.
That is.
If people don't even show or even lift their eye and look at
For
us,
this, we
forget
are
it.
done.
Yeah. I think we should stop on that.
Yeah.
So we made this big comic prints and big cutouts of the characters where people can stand and take photos and all that. ಏನೋ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ವಿ. And we had these kurkure soldiers. Okay. And first day, people were amazed. They're like, what is this? Are you serious? This is Indian. You have said India. Are you serious? And all that. But it was just a handful of people. Then my brother-in-law said, at any convention or a stall, people don't enter a stall. They generally walk on the aisle. There is some imaginary line that they have to cross if they have to enter a stall, apparently. And it was true. So what we did was we moved the table front, put the figures there, put the dice there. The door opened, the Comic-Con doors. We got flooded by 6,000 people. Okay. 6,000 people are playing this. There are 2 people playing. There's another line of people behind them looking at what's happening. These guys are explaining the rules of the games to another line of people. Those guys are, behind them there's another line of people like looking, what the hell is this? Anta. And we were blown away. We're like, shit. Anta.
Are you selling or are you showcasing?
We're just showcasing. We just made them play.
Got it.
And they were blown away.
Yeah.
They're like, what are these characters? What are these comics? What are these figures? Can we buy it? Can we buy it? Can we buy it? We had nothing. Okay. We took all of their contact details and all of that. They were the first 250 customers we got, which gave us the confidence. And that's when I reached out to all these investors. And all of these investors are like, we don't invest in product companies. We only invest in digital companies which have like crazy amount of scaling. You have inventory, it's capital intensive, we'll not do it.
We don't want to do it.
Then we stumbled upon this article by, top VCs to look out for or something. And these guys, Pranav and Siddharth, were below 30. Like, these guys will understand.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to contact them. I just found him on LinkedIn. I pinged him. And I shared a photo of the product. He was blown away. Like, when can I meet you? I'm like, oh, okay. Then he said, I want a copy. So I personally went and delivered to him, and then after that is history.
history.
He is one of the main pillars in our business now, and even today he's supporting us. Like,
How does it work? Does he buy a part of the company, or how does it work?
this is a crazy part. He owns only 1% of the company.
What?
Can you believe it? He just owns 1% of the company. First, he was totally blown away. He was like, dude, whatever you're doing, you have my support and all that. Even after 4-5 years, he says the same thing. He's like, I have a sweet spot for you. And that coming from somebody like Siddharth is like freaking motivating.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody invested in us. We only figured out the marketing channels, revenue channels, everything by ourselves. And more importantly, we started realizing we are the only people in whole of India doing this. And then we started realizing board games was bringing us 90% of the business, because these are the only products which have a shelf life which is longer than 30-40 years.
That's where the Mosaic Games was.
So we started making. Then we made a game called Chariots of Chandragupta that became super popular. Then we had games based on a lot of things in Indian history. And then we made a game called Indus, which put us on the world map, because somebody in US, so there's a Wikipedia for board games called Board Game Geek. There are lakhs and lakhs and lakhs of games listed on that. Okay, just a handful from India till then. And these guys shortlisted our game as a top 60 best game in the world. I'm like sitting in Bangalore, what? Who are these people? Oh, okay, interview, PR, let's do the interview. And he asked for an interview, so we got up, US time, so we got up at 5 o'clock in the morning, set up like this, and I'm showing all the components and all that. They are like, what the hell? And that became one of the most popular games coming out of India. It was co-designed with another friend of mine, Amit Gadge anta, next level avanu. Sigode illa avanu, designer avanu, game designer. Concept corporate vote out.
That's all.
He's on a bike, he'll go off, he'll be in some tent, no connection there. Okay. And it's up to us. But he'll give you some killer concept. Kari Kari Taj also, he only gave the concept. We're building Taj Mahal, market is there. You send workers there, market keeps changing, and he ran away. I'm like, wow. Now we have to design it and, figure it out. Around this time, we are slowly building the business model as well.
Yeah.
Right? We are trying to figure out, okay, these games can actually command a pretty good profit margin.
Yeah.
If it's going to command a good profit margin, the value that a consumer sees from this also should be there.
Yeah.
Right? Not chumma price it 5,000, 6,000 bucks and then expect the consumer to buy it.
Yeah.
Right? He should feel that he's getting something worth that or 2x that.
Investing the money. Yeah.
Correct. Then we started analyzing a lot of things when we were trying to figure out what is our brand standing for. Right? So when we were doing that analysis, then we slowly started realizing what are all the medium that you use in indoors where people actually sit at a table and bond, right? Or even create memories or bonding of any sort. Think about it. Everything is solo. You solve a jigsaw puzzle, it's solo. Mobile games is solo. Playing on the PS4, PS5 is solo. Watching a movie together is also a solo experience. You only laugh together or just point, haha, that's it. What memory have you created? That's when we realize even toys don't have, even Lego blocks don't have this kind of a
the power of a board game.
Right.
Yeah.
So when we started realizing the power and the stories we started having about how we were impacting people's lives, I never expected. We're like, board game, after all, board games, right? It's a business we are making, telling stories through games. That was my intention. This new twist in the tail,
you didn't think of.
You won't believe it. This family comes into a store on the opening, and they're like, you have changed our life. I'm like, what? How? Your game Chai Garam has changed our life. I'm like, okay, how? And they started telling us stories like, their mother, when the father passed away, she didn't talk to anybody. And Chai Garam was the game which opened her up to the entire family, started calling them to play the game with her. Okay. And she actually opened up, and now she's become a hardcore gamer. She makes YouTube reels and she's like 50, 60-year-old. ಎಷ್ಟು ಮುದ್ದಾಗಿದೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾ, ಇನ್ ಹರ್ ಓನ್ ಆಕ್ಸೆಂಟ್, ದ ತಮಿಳ್ ಆಕ್ಸೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಶಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್ಸ್ ದ ಗೇಮ್. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಸೋ ಕ್ಯೂಟ್. I absolutely love it. So whenever she comes to our store to play a game or something, we will be jumping with joy. So and there was one kid who had cerebral palsy. We didn't know. The mother ordered the game and we were giving away. No, this was Yuddhabhumi. The mother ordered the game and the mother said, hey, you're giving a Rakhi free, alva? My son, he doesn't have a sibling. It's so nice that you're giving a Rakhi. From the designer, the Rakhi, me and my wife were the faces of the company then. So it's so nice that, the company founders are actually tying a Rakhi for us. So, too much I was like, yeah, cool. Then she sends me photos. This kid has cerebral palsy and has another few more years to survive. Every day he plays Yuddhabhumi. The moment the father comes, sits there only. Chaplinu bitchak bidalva ante. Sits there only near the foot mat. Start playing. She shared all these photos. It really,
wow.
I never imagined it would affect people to that level.
Yeah.
And there was one more story where this kid used to follow us a lot on Instagram, and so what used to happen was, anybody who follows us, I would personally message them and ask them what interested you and all that. And in fact, with some people I've actually had calls, and we built such strong bonds with all of them. In that, there was one kid, both his parents are in the military. Father is somewhere on the line of control, and the mother is somewhere positioned in Gujarat. Okay. And this kid's exam is getting over. Okay. I've been having this interaction with him. I've used to have these things like, we'll send out PDF files, they can download, print it at home and play it and all that, print and play tara. And suddenly we get an order from 2 army bases. Like, something is weird. And both of them are addressed to this fellow only. I asked him, hey, I think your mom or dad has bought a game for you. He's like, wow, I didn't know. How did they? Okay, so nice. How did they know that I like this and all that? And there are 2 of these coming from different places. It's like, what are the addresses? Give me and then he gave me a call back. And he said, my mom and dad, both of them decided to buy it. They don't have signal. Whatever signal they had, both of them decided to buy the game. Okay. And I'm like, wow. And he's in tears. He's like bawling with tears there that both the mom and dad have remembered what he likes and bought it for him. And, and I'm like, me and Shweta sitting here, shit, what did we do? Is this product even deserving this kind of love?
Yeah.
That's when we realized a lot of people in India, there's a huge demand, but no suppliers. Right? And I can keep telling you stories like this, with people where they reach out to us and say, like, for example, Massachusetts Institute of Technology has a game design lab. The head of the department of that sent us an email saying, I want all of your games. I'm like, wow. And one line blew us off, right? He said, till now, India stereotype, the Westerners' perspective of India, you have totally changed it and you're putting India in the right light.
Wow.
Is the first time till date somebody is actually putting India in the right light. Till then there were games. If I start telling you, you'll laugh. So there is a game called Ganesha. Has nothing to do with it. And designed by a Romanian. Romanian or Ukrainian or somebody. So we asked her, why did you name it Ganesha? We have a community, right? But nam deshadda hesaraagbiಟ್ಟು game design ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ what the hell ಅಂತ we asked her, what is this? Because you're looking at the game has nothing to do with anything, okay? Rhinos, some mandala and all that is there. She said, actually on my trip to India, somebody, we were going on the street, there were chai tapris and chai walas and hair cutting salons, everything with the name Ganesha, so I named this Ganesha. Full photo there on the box, beautiful. And this is
the reasoning
cover
behind it. Yeah.
That is just.
And that's an insult almost.
It's huge. Yeah. There's another game called Rajas of the Ganges, which is on the top 10 best game, top 20 best games out of lakhs. You know what you're doing? As kings, we are earning karma points and redeeming karma points for resources. Who the hell told them that karma points can be exchanged for materialistic things, right? And this was the kind of stereotype that was there. I showed you Taj Mahal, right? Where you're building 20, 30 Taj Mahals.
How can you?
Right. So that was the stereotype. India ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಹೆಸರು ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಎಕ್ಸಾಟಿಕ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಥೀಮ್ ಅಂತ.
What's the future for Mosaic?
The future is it's a pretty aggressive plan that we have.
So what? There's no competitor.
Good question. I was just getting to that. So yeah, see, competition is required at this point because more number of people helping spread the awareness of the hobby is required. So alone we can't. So we actually are supporting 50-60 other designers to get their games out. But more importantly, there are these massive mafias out there like Hasbro and Fun School and Mattel. They will snub you in every way possible, right?
Are they noticing you all?
Absolutely. So in fact, we are designing games for them. But more importantly, my goal is to have our games in every household. You know, for that you have to survive, you know, as a company, not just make truckloads of stock and give it to Amazon and forget about it. That's not what we want to do. We want to build tell a lot more stories, right? You played Vallam Kali, the boat races of Kerala, where we lost terribly to Aditya, which we have not forgotten. So, there are so many stories to tell like this. And we want to support, more importantly, we want to tell stories from India to the world, right? And the world is noticing it. We've got a ton of support. I told you about SN. In fact, that was the trip which Siddharth Pai sponsored.
Okay.
I'll never forget that conversation with him. I was actually telling him about, there is this event, SN and all. I said, how much is it? I said, this much. I thought he'll give me a loan or something we have to return. Believe me, until 45 minutes into the call, I didn't realize he's sponsoring it. Okay. I thought I have to give it back, right? Typically, when you talk to an investor, that's the worry. So, sweet fellow, he actually gave us. I don't know why he does this for us. Still stumps us, but whatever. I mean, we wanted to put that to good use. So we went to SN, we exhibited, and a lot of roadblocks which we had to overcome. Tons and tons of roadblocks. Every time we would do something, you go 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. So it was like...
Apart from all the sponsorship money that you've gotten from whoever, your own, like you and your first circle family.
Yeah.
I'm sure at the back of your mind, you know how much you've put in.
Absolutely.
Right? Have you made that back?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Triple that.
Yeah?
Yeah. So...
Wow.
No, more important
that's nice
thing
to hear.
is... this... Sorry, I hope I'm not wasting your time.
No.
So the most important thing in a business for anybody is to figure out if there is a revenue channel at all.
Yeah.
Not create a revenue stream.
If there is,
Not create a market and then wait for it to nurture. I mean, develop.
Again, for that you'll have to have like deeper pockets and...
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but when you discover that it is there, right? When we went to SN and got selected as out of lakhs of games, man, out of 12,000 games on display there from every freaking country in the world, they picked our games as the top 10 most anticipated games just because in the last 50 years of existence, no Indian exhibitor has showcased the games. Right? When that solidified and validated that we are on the right track, nothing can stop me. Nothing can stop our team now.
Yeah.
We have, we built a very strong team now.
It's taken years.
Absolutely. And now we are slowly realizing, till now it was just me and Shweta running the business, which is a different story I have to share with you. But, running the business with a wife is extremely challenging.
Tell us a little about that.
Wait. So till now we were always just me and Shweta, right? Shweta joined us after Comic-Con experience. She was like, okay, this guy needs help and there is something here. And we started going together, pitching and stuff like that. So I would paint the vision and the dream and the story. She would get to the more statistics, metrics
Data.
and numbers and the data part, right? More sophisticated. She's a project manager.
So,
Comes automatically, meticulousness and all of that. So, I mean, we've done a lot of businesses from when we were young. Like, I used to know her from almost 7th standard.
Oh.
Yeah, it's in the family. So, I mean,
That's
her
nice.
brother married my sister. So I
Okay,
always
okay,
knew her
okay.
existence. Just that I didn't like her then because I always thought she was out of my league. So I was, I was doing something else. And then suddenly one fine day she hits me and she's like, okay, what is happening here? And then she's like, I've told you I love you so many times and you never realize. I'm like, Houda. Like, you moron. I'm like, shit, okay, I didn't realize that. Anyway, that's a long story. But when it comes to, we actually plan around two years ahead of us. That I want to push it to 5-10 years.
Yeah.
But right now our visibility is still 2 years.
2 years.
But the way it's working, one thing we've understood is this planning of 2 years at a very high level is working.
Yeah.
Okay. So she brings a very unique thing to the table. So we are other ends of the spectrum. Okay. Like I'm very creative. I love design. I go overboard.
Yeah.
She keeps me grounded. Like,
Yeah.
excuse me, the 700 rupees al madakagala.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, right? So she takes care of, she's the skeletal system of the business. I'm the creative part. But we actually sit and brainstorm. We realize that when you have a team and you brainstorm, you can solve problems which are totally impossible to solve.
Yeah. Yeah.
Many times.
Yeah.
Because it's just my mind and her mind, right? And suddenly these guys bring a whole different thing to the table. I just realized the synergy that you get with the team is ridiculous, right? So we always have fights. If there's no fight, then your team is dead.
Yeah.
Right?
There has
So
to be a fight.
Yeah. We actually, when it gets into these more fist fights only, literally start swearing at each other, all of that will happen. Something like that happens all the time when, I have this kind of a vision in my head, like this is how it should be, and I explain it to her and write this, and she has a very valid point as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you need both.
You need both. She will always have a valid point because she, for some reason, thinks from ground up. Okay. So we always have this fight. And when she gets pissed, it's a very, that moment, she'll be supremely angry. Okay. So what used to happen was, we used to write the rule book for Karigare-Taj, the game where we build the Taj Mahal, right? And she got angry with one particular rule I had written. Okay. I think from a UX perspective, to simplify as much as possible. For her, it's like, is it logical? Is it even fitting into the theme, right? So she is like, ಇದು ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಎಷ್ಟು ಸತಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ಲು ಇಟ್ಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಗೋನ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಪಾಲ್ಗನ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಗೋನ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಪಾಲ್ಗನ್ ನಾಟ್ ಗೋನ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಪಾಲ್ಗನ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಲೆಟ್ ಮೀ ಶೋ ಯು ಶಿ ಗಾಟ್ ಆಂಗ್ರಿ ಶಿ ವೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಸೊ ಜನರಲಿ ಮೀ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಶ್ವೇತಾ ಕಮ್ ಟು ಆಫೀಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಬೈಕ್ ಕಾರ್ ಪಾರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ ಓಕೆ ಬೈಕಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತೀವಿ ಬಿಟ್ಟೊಟ್ಟೋದ್ಲು ಓಕೆ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಶಿಟ್ ಡು ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ವಾಕ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಹೋಮ್ ಅಂತ ವಾಟ್ ಡು ಐ ಡೂ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಥಿಂಕಿಂಗ್. Then my printing guy, so the manufacturer, my manufacturer is 40-50-year-old. His son, okay, he's become a super close friend of mine, and he's taken over the business for board game manufacturing. So we've become like brothers. Okay, his name is Prajwal. Phone ಮಾಡು, hey Prajwal, ಎಲ್ಲಿದ್ಯೋ ಬರ್ತೀಯಾ ಊಟ ಕೊಡಿಸ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ. He's like, yeah, sure, I'll come. What biryani? Okay, biryani we ordered. We have Rebel fast food underneath, right? So we keep on. He ate and he's like, then I told him, "Ee tara fight aitu." She got angry. She left me and went off. Can you drop me home, anta? And from that day onwards, if he gets a call at 8:30 from me, "Hey sir, bidbeka manege."
But that's something I noticed the other day when I met you all also, right? Like there is this openness to work together between both of you. It's like, it's there. It's very hard to not see it.
We totally respect each other.
Yeah, it's very hard to not see it.
But a lot of people keep complaining that, my family is like bored with our discussions. Okay, you only talk about business, only about. Nan magan kedide, what does your dad do? Andre marketing anta. Even today. So when we go for a walk in the morning,
you all might enjoy it, right? I mean,
we absolutely love it. I mean,
so
she
then what's
respects.
there?
Yeah, but it's really weird when you actually talk to other couples. They're like, "Bari idena ನೀವು ಮಾತಾಡೋದು ದಿನಾ ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ಗೇಮ್ಸ್ ಏನ ಮಾತಾಡೋದು ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ." And then we look at each other like, we love it ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ. It's very rare that we actually found a co-founder who's as passionate as I am.
Yeah.
And morning when we get up, go for a dog walk and all that, we're only discussing like ivatten ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, what are the strategies. Oh, I forgot to tell you one biggest difference. So I don't sleep. I'm a hardcore insomniac. Okay, I'm the kind of
max? 4.
If you ask me, I will not sleep for 36 hours also.
Wow.
I feel sleeping is a waste of time. Okay. Now Amma, she thought, in madve admel at least change agtane. Shweta was like, "Naan 10:30 I'm sleeping, you do whatever you want." And that's what she tells everybody. In the night what he does, I have no clue. And so what happened when we started this business, since both of us were so deep in it, she would sleep at 10:30, right? I am awake till 4ish. Okay, and
what are you saying,
dude, everybody's awake at 4. All the designers, if I need feedback, there are 20-30 people awake at that time. Okay, that's the best part. All these creative guys don't sleep. Alright, so at 4 o'clock I'm sending out on WhatsApp and asking, hey, what do you guys think of this artwork? I'm getting feedback and all that, right? And Shweta, like, who are all these demons you work with? Namamma ade karitar nanna some rakshasas hesaru. Anyway, so I come at 4 o'clock to sleep. I'll be exhausted. I'm like, I can't sleep until I have achieved something significant, right? I don't want to push anything to the next day again. So I try to finish it, only then sleep. I have slept at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning and all that. And when I come to sleep, she gets up. We share notes. And then she takes over from there. That became a practice. It's become a practice now. 5 years now. That's how we run the business. When I'm sleeping, she is working. When she is sleeping, I'm working.
Wow.
So we literally work 24/7, 365 days a year, and we are not tired of it. We are just seeing, somebody told me this amazing quote. I mean, Ronnie Screwwala, he was like, he always sees a glass as half empty.
Yeah.
A lot of people say, oh, so this and all, right? But that half empty glass means you still have the other half to achieve.
Yeah.
Right? So that actually is in my mind all the time. I'm thinking, dude, there's so much to achieve. We are nothing here.
Yeah.
It might be bit out of the way. What is the point, right?
Now's where it begins.
Yeah, we have a long journey ahead now, right?
Yeah.
We want to push Fun School and Hasbro away.
Yeah.
Dude, have you seen the Fun School cricket game?
It'll be
This
lame.
caricature on the cover, man, and that too, it's so horribly done. Anyway, so we are revamping everything. We are telling people this is kind of an experience that you can get, and we are seeing that, right? I mean, customers come in, the minimum basket size is like $10,000. They come, they would have heard about something. They walk through the door. First of all, they're shocked that there's a store only for board games, anta. And then I showcase some of the things, and minimum they'll go back with 4-5 games.
That's average $10,000.
Even when we go to Soul Sante, they look at Nama Bengaluru or something. What is this game? And bartare. Oh, I've only played Monopoly and Ludo. Let me show you. That was how it was 4 years ago, 3-4 years ago.
You do Soul Sante even now?
Yeah. We love Soul Sante. We have beer there, dude. I only go there for the beer. The team takes care of the sale.
So Aditya, what you should get immediately after this episode.
Yeah, so we go there. All of these places. India, the airport, is it?
Who knows, boss? Once in a while we'll hear.
Man, so strange.
Modi might be flying.
So yeah, I mean, when we go to Soul Sante today or any of the events, the questions people ask you are very different. They're actually asking you, hey, I've played Catan, I have played Ticket to Ride, I've played Exploding Kittens. It is like music to the ears, like, wow. Whoa.
Again, coming back. They're searching for you.
Oh, please. Somebody was saying, is your goal to stand next to Modi and shake his hand saying you've made something? So what happened was, the government wanted to do something. They actually called up and asked for assistance and all. I didn't know how to help these guys. Okay, their thought process is like that, and I'm thinking about modern strategy games. And they started something called Toy Hackathon. First of all, Toykathon. They could have just called it Toy Hackathon. Why Toykathon?
Toykathon
Just
sounds very
murders
bad.
it. Exactly. So they did this Toykathon or whatever, and we didn't participate, obviously. All these designers from across India designed, and they got, some of them got chosen. Same old games got the prize, right? Like roll a dice, you move, you fall in something, you do something. And all of them reached out to me because none of the assistants or investors who said we will invest your game and all, they all backed off. So they all come to me only now. I'm suddenly flooded with all these. So every day I get a pitch for a game.
Yeah.
Every day. Okay. So that's the level where
things have changed.
And now I know how VCs are. Because, like shit, you ದುಡ್ಡು ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕಾ ಅಂತ. So that's the thing.
This is amazing, Phalgun. I mean, Phalgun. This is amazing. I mean, honestly, just looking back, that's what I mentioned even some time back, right? Like, even if you just rewind this 15 years ago, when you were sitting in Mindtree, none of this was possible. But again, it's that courage you take.
All these events.
It's those milestones where you have to jump again.
Yeah.
Like, irrespective now, even after that 8 years of photography, there is a jump that you took. Or else you could have again gone back to something else, no? But at every stage, there was some or the other jump that you had to take.
I think a lot of people in India are very lazy. All right, they are. There's a ton of creativity. We are all nerds, okay? But a lot of people, especially, who just want a salary so that they are safe.
Yeah. They
join an IT company or some company and, they just have enough money to pay for a car loan or a house loan or go to a mall or something like that. But there is a fire in a whole bunch of people. And the biggest problem over here is they're not able to recognize, they have the fire, okay? They want to do something, but they're not looking at the market the way they should be, right? Are there people to pay? First of all, think about that.
Yeah.
Then you do everything else, right? So that's why we designed the game Startups and Beyond, right? So every game we designed was because of a particular event in our life. So we were like, oh, okay, I think we should make a game based on, I think we should make a big game based on this. A lot of people were laughing that, madve ella shoot madidre makkalu urtaralva avrga idu anta. So you're actually basically making businesses which help a person in the life cycle of their life.
Another thing I was thinking about from whatever you shared was the whole connection with your dad.
Yeah.
And what he did, he did what he loved. So he wanted to travel, he wanted to take pictures in the most creative way possible, not knowing what it can lead to. And second is, as a son, you respecting his journey for whatever that was, right? Because if you didn't respect that journey, then these things wouldn't have happened too. You had to respect that in its own way for what it was, for you to have your own.
See, that is the very important thing in your life, even as a child. If you don't have exposure or opportunities to interact with your family and get to know your dad better, your mom better, right? They have 3x more experiences in their life, right? I feel you'll miss out. And we are creating an opportunity for these people to come together. That was the whole intention.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's another way to look at it.
Yeah.
In a way, you're creating spaces for people to sit together and talk to each other, and in a world where that's reducing.
Exactly.
Wow. Phalgun, this was amazing, man. I mean, I think this is the least I've ever thought about time.
Oh.
Because honestly, I've...
Shit, 2 hours.
I just wanted...
Did we just spend 2 hours?
Yeah. I just wanted to get so much out of you. And I don't know if you've realized it, but you've really spoken a beautiful story today. It was like a start to
I
end.
was just rambling, dude. I don't know how much of
No,
it
but
made
it was
sense
so
to you.
structured. You realize like where it started, and a lot of the things, a lot of the shifts in your story, I didn't realize until you went to the next point, which is how your life has played out.
Yeah.
You go into this next phase, and then the last one makes sense.
I would recommend you check out Ikigai.
I've had my stint with going through it, but anyway, I'm not.
No, you
gonna
can
share
modify
my-
it to fit
Yeah,
your
yeah,
requirements.
exactly. Yeah.
So that's what we did. But
It's amazing,
The whole
Phalgun.
concept of, when you read the Bhagavad Gita, that's what it's harping all about, right?
Mm.
I mean, I'm an atheist, but I totally respect the Gita because it was not written in the modern times.
Mm.
There was some genius people out there who understood human behavior, psychology, and everything, and actually put it in a nice
Yeah.
song form.
Mm.
Dude, that requires a lot of intelligence to do this.
Yeah.
And it was written during the, right after the Indus Valley civilization. It was, conceptualized, right? When you actually read that, it's all about karma yoga and purpose in life, not just do something for yourself. Because right now the generation is like that. I want this. I want my life to be like this. How are you impacting that next circle around you? Are you caring about them? Are you caring about the nature? Are you caring about the next future generation? Right?
If you're not, then
Exactly.
you're not going to take much out of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are very selfish and greedy right now, and that's what we are slowly trying to change in our own way. By you give, they'll also give. That's
Yeah.
what I realized. You shower them with love, you get showered with love. So
Awesome, Phalgun.
Yeah.
This was awesome.
I'm
Thank
glad,
you
man.
for
I hope.
Thank you for giving us all of this. And this is what me and Aditya keep speaking. Whether, who watches, who doesn't watch, at the end of the day, it's left to them. But as first circle to sit here and listen to it, thank you so much for
I'm glad.
giving us all this.
Dude, you're my
And,
friend, man.
yeah.
Of course, this is something we would have
No.
anyway had without the mic setup also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I'm glad to know you.
Yeah.
I think I'm very glad to know you, and I'm very glad to know so much about this venture, because now we feel invested in it.
Oh.
Now we feel like we are part of it.
Dude.
And
Alright.
man, I just wish you the best.
Thank you
I
so
wish,
much. Really
I wish
appreciate
Mosaic
it.
Games, I wish it becomes 10 years down the line, there's Mosaic Games in every home. There can't be a home, there can't be a school without a product of Mosaic Games.
Yep.
And I think I'm done with looking at Fun School everywhere.
And Hasbro and all these things, yes.
We need to look at Mosaic Games now.
Yeah. Awesome.
That's the next part of the journey.
Yes, you're on it.
Awesome. This was a brilliant episode. Thank you so much for joining us. If you haven't checked out Mosaic Games, you should definitely check them out. We leave all their details in the description. I think it's take an hour out. Go visit the store. I think Phalgun will not mind
Oh, yeah,
meeting
absolutely.
any of you. So please take the time out, spend an hour at the store so that you get a glimpse of whatever this is. And if you already knew Phalgun before this, I'm sure you would have got another whole insight by watching this episode.
Absolutely. I
So,
don't think I've shared all this with a lot of people. So
Yeah. Thank you. So thank you so much. This was episode 48 of On a Personal Note with Adarsh Sakare. See you on the next one. Thank you, Phalgun.